meeting of October 11, 2021 to order. This is the Beaufort County Board of Education Executive Committee. We need a motion to approve the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the agenda for today's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mel Campbell.
Okay.
Okay, and David Strippinger, second the motion. Any discussion? Since no hands are raised, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. The motion was to approve the agenda was unanimous. We will now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. The media has been properly notified. We now are down to approval of the committee meeting minutes of September 27, 2021. Could we have a motion for that?
Yes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mel Campbell.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the committee meeting minutes from September 27, 2021.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. David Strippinger made the motion, or excuse me, second the motion after Mel Campbell made the motion. Any discussion, gentlemen? So there being no hands up, all in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
And Mr. Strippinger?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yes, hands up.
Okay. All right, the minutes are approved unanimously by the committee. Next, we have setting the October 19th meeting. So we'll let Robin display, as she has, the draft agenda for the next business meeting on October 19th. This one will be held at the School for the Creative Arts, since it's the second meeting of the month. And we have the usual wording at the top.
I'll change the executive session time once you all determine the time.
Okay. So it looks like we have just one item under executive session.
But I think, Alice, is that 3 items that pertain to that one?
Actually, it's 4. I think it's
Oh.
4 different contracts he need to bring forth. So
Okay.
I would recommend that you leave it at an hour and not make it 30 minutes because you might
Okay.
be pushing yourself.
Yep. Thank you, Ms. Walton. So let's switch to 5. Any other comments about the executive session? All right. Then I guess we'll continue down. Just raise your hand if you want to interject comments or questions.
Can you check and see who joined by iPhone?
Okay. Could the iPhone person identify themselves, please? You're muted and muted. Could the iPhone person unmute and identify themselves, please? So it appears to be William?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. All right. We'll go down to the public portion of the meeting, and it's got our usual action is necessary or appropriate coming out of executive session, the agenda approval, the pledge, the moment of silence, the statement of media. notification. So the student performance is May River High School. Do we have anything more about that?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. Points of celebration, we have the September Student of the Month.
It will be
So we'll have that.
students north and south of the Broad.
Yeah, okay. So that will get filled in.
Mhm.
Then the first public comments. The chairman's report, I know Earl and I are attending the regional advocacy meeting of the South Carolina School Boards Association in Somerville on Wednesday evening, so I'll give a report on that. The other thing that will happen is the board members are going to receive the packets for the superintendent's evaluation at this meeting.
Yes.
So let's put that as a bullet point. And when they're due back. And I don't have those, we had that on the agenda last time. I don't have those dates in my head.
I'll put the
So
dates on here.
yeah, you can fill that in. Fill that in for us. The other officers, Mel and David, do you have any other topics you can think I should include under the chairman's report?
No, ma'am.
Okay. No, okay. And this is a draft. I mean, I may think of something before we actually have the meeting on Tuesday. All right, so Robin will fill out the part about the superintendents. We're down to the committee reports, and we have 3 of the committees meeting before the 19th, Finance, Operations, and Technology. So we'll have, OEs and whatnot coming out of those, or perhaps other recommendations. All right. Then we're on to the superintendent's report, and Ms. Walton is here to cover that, as Dr. Rodriguez could not attend tonight.
Madam Chair, I do have one item for the superintendent's report, and
Mhm.
that's a COVID update.
Okay,
And
So
that's
that's
all
on-
that's all he has for his report.
okay, and that's already under other matters. And then we
And-
have our usual, we have the monthly transparency report and the monthly 100,000 report and the board budget monthly update, as those are all listed under goal 3, fiscal responsibility.
And Tanya asked to add the Hilton Head Island TIF update. So she has asked that be added to this meeting's agenda.
Yep, and the SR update, I think we said was going to be at the second
That's what this is,
business
yes.
meeting each month, yeah. Mr. Stribinger?
Thanks, Madam Chair. I think this would be the place to put Rachel Wisniewski's request for an update on the impact fees.
Yeah, I was thinking we needed that as well. Okay.
Do you care what order? Put it there since,
Yeah, that
Oh,
might be
yeah.
better.
Madam Chair, I have a question about
Sure.
the agenda for the work session.
Mhm.
There's an item on their operating levy. Is that in connection with impact fees at all?
No, that was different,
Okay.
I believe. I believe the update on the impact fees is which MOUs the county has with the different municipalities, correct, David?
Well, as was reported in the newspaper, there's the hang up right now is that Bluffton wants reduced fees for affordable housing, and they're trying to figure out how to do that.
Mhm.
Because, it's a hang up because you pay the fee when you get your permit, so nobody knows who's going to buy the house. So they're working on that. And so that's what that update is. And I don't know what the operating levy is.
All right.
Yeah, this is pretty specific though.
And also, wouldn't this, the impact fees would include Hilton Head, because I don't think they have signed on either. That it's not just a Bluffton exclusive, David.
Yeah, I know we're not supposed to be discussing, but I think Hilton had just rejected it outright.
Okay.
Bluffton just wants a reduction, and that seems to be the hangup.
Okay, so we'll get an update, and I was just trying to figure out time-wise, but it doesn't sound like it will be time intensive.
I think I just gave the update, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Looks like we covered everything under there.
There's a reason why you have student achievement with a bullet or nothing. Nothing there.
Ms. Walton.
Mr. Campbell, there will be no reports on student achievement this meeting.
Okay.
So yeah, it would be better then it's, yeah, not
Change it.
applicable.
I
Take
changed
the
Thank you.
bullet away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's clear. All right, down to board business action, and
Do we have anything that anyone?
I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. Mel or David?
I can't think of anything,
No.
which is sad. It's sad that we don't have any board business action.
Well, we do have board business. It's just not action, because we're going to be working on the superintendent's evaluation. That will be at least in progress at this meeting, but we won't be taking any action at this meeting.
Do you want me to put up the future list so that you can see anything that we might want
Sure.
to take off of that? If there's anything to.
Yeah.
The one thing that I added on here was email from Kathy, update on Zoom sessions for quarantine students.
That could be covered as part of Dr. Rodriguez's COVID update.
Okay.
I don't think that has to be a separate topic.
Yeah, I think he already covered that once, but
He did.
yeah, I told Kathy we'll have him cover it again.
Yeah,
Doing that.
sounds good. Okay.
I think that was it.
Okay. The TIF was, and the operating levy with the work session, and the TIF was one of the outstanding items, and that's going to be covered at this meeting.
Mhm.
All right.
So I'll leave the bullet there in case something comes up between
Yeah,
now
exactly.
and Monday.
Yeah. Don't remove it yet. All right, for consent agenda, it will be the last meeting minutes.
And
then our
whatever
usual-
comes out of committee meetings.
Right, and yeah. And then we get the usual ending things, the future topics, the announcements, second public comments and adjournment. And at the bottom, you've got the next scheduled board meeting, the work session,
Yep.
hybrid video conferencing. You probably should put at the district media center, whatever you say, so the
Mhm.
location's known.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you normally have the address there too?
I'll put it on, I don't usually put it down here, but
Okay,
it'll be on the agenda.
yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So
So do we have any further discussion about this agenda? Okay, there being no hands up, we can go on to the work session. Okay, so this is at the, yeah, maybe you want to add under Media Center. I don't know, do you usually have the 2900 Mink Point Boulevard? The actual
No, but I'll
address?
put it on there.
Yeah. I'd put that actually, but I put Media Center above that, Robin, and so this address isn't split up. Yeah, exactly. All right. And the same thing, okay, so we have accepting public comments between 8 and 8:30. And then the meeting will start at 9. All right,
I'm sure I spelled Geechee wrong, so if somebody can
Yes.
correct it. How is it? How is it supposed?
CH,
EE at the end.
yeah, CHEE, no I. There you go. One more E.
One more E, yes.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Thank you. All right,
So these were the 3 topics that came out of the last meeting was the
Okay.
Gullah Geechee impact, teacher retention, and African American Heritage Conference. The operating levy was Rachel's
Yeah,
item
from
that was a
before.
leftover from the last work session.
yeah, she wasn't ready for it to come forward.
Right.
Okay,
So these were the only thing, these were the only agenda items for the work session that was given, not unless you all have others.
so we know, and so I think another good one, but it probably would have to be a little later, not this weekend, would be having another conversation with Peggy Torrey, because she's going to the district staff or administrative staff is having a what do you want to say, a meeting with her right at the end of this week,
Mhm.
and
She's working with the staff in
on the OEs and all
on the
that. So it
OEs
seems
and
like
setting
that would
them
be
up.
helpful to have in the near future, like perhaps in early November, maybe. David?
Well, I was wondering if we could put a little something on the Gullah Geechee impact on language. I'm not sure that's the exact target. I think it was maybe on the language proficiency or English language proficiency, because the conversation was around evaluating Gullah Geechee for language issues, the same as ESOL.
Okay.
To get a proficiency read. I think that's true. Is that not, Mel?
That is true. That is true.
Okay, I think that's a better way to put it.
All right, Mel?
We also, I don't know if this was for this succession, but we asked for an update on the Beaufort County student profile.
That was saying the graduate that was coming to the academic committee.
Oh, it's coming to the academic committee?
That was what was
Okay.
on the last
Okay.
feature that was coming to the academic committee.
Okay,
All right.
guess that'll work.
So, what is the other officers, since we'll be the ones that will have to, bring it forward to the board, do you, I see your hand up, Mr. Smith, but I'm gonna ask the officers a question first. So do you think that also having, it seems like since the Peggy Torrey is working with the staff first about the OEs, et cetera, that it seems like we should have this conversation after she does that with the board. And I don't think there's probably enough time for that to happen between, you know, when she meets with the staff and then this work session. Do you have any comments, Mel or David, about that?
I'm not really aware of the target. I didn't know that anybody was meeting with the staff. So,
Mhm.
but if it's a meeting to try to polish, so to speak, the OEs, I think it's going to take a while.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe what we should do is just wait on that until after the staff has met with Ms. Torrey, and then Dr. Rodriguez can give us what he, you know, he's gleaned from that and what he thinks the best time for the board to have, you know, further discussion about it, and with Ms. Torrey would be best. All right, Mr. Smith?
I remember, like Mr. Campbell said, I remember Mrs. From the last board meeting, me and Mrs. Robine asked for that to go to the work session, or we asked for that to come before the board, not the academic discussion, the Beaufort County student. We asked for that to come before the actual board at the work session or in a board meeting. I don't remember. We never specifically said that should go at the academic committee. No, that's
was
what we requested. Kathy and I both requested it because she said, and I said ditto, and I also said it should be at the next after the next meeting, because we were talking about the color culture student, and that's when Kathy said yes, that should be brought to the next meeting. And so I also, I believe somewhere along the line, it would make sense for it to be brought to the work session for the whole board. I don't see why would there be any pushback from any board members for from it coming to the actual work session versus going to academic committee. I think it's more effective when you have all board members who are together on it, who are there, who can make a sound decision, and also can see that's where the board as a whole is looking for it to go. So I'm with Mr. Campbell in saying that they need to go to the work session.
Mr. Strivenger?
Thanks, Madam Chair. The profile of the Beaufort County graduate has been an academic committee task since I first tried to get it dealt with. So I don't think it's out of the question that the academic committee should be bringing that forward. I understand what Will's saying, and I agree. The full board should deal with everything, but normally it comes through the committee first, and that has been their task. I don't think any of us thought that it would take this long, but that's the way it is. So I think the academic committee will bring it forward when they're done with it.
Well, again, I don't.
Mr. Smith, please put your hand down and then raise it again if you'd like to speak, and I'll call on you, sir.
That's why I left it up, because obviously I want to speak.
Mr. Smith, I've asked you to please put it down and then put it up, because I can't tell.
Well, I
that.
already said what I want to say.
Mr. Smith?
Back to the academic. I mean, coming back to the full
Smith?
board. Their problem.
Put your hand down.
No, I will not put my hand down.
Mr. Smith, put it down and I'll call on you when you put it back up.
No, I don't need to. I've said what I need to say. Not a move for that.
All right, David and Mel, do you have anything further about this agenda?
I don't have anything.
There's gonna be a time allotment or no?
It doesn't, I mean, it looks to me like it's not going to be a 2-day meeting. It looks like it's going to be, you know, a 1-day, perhaps just into early afternoon even. I guess it
Okay.
depends on
All right,
the length of each of these topics.
and the order, I think
Yeah.
is fine.
You all want me to change anything as far as order?
I think it's fine. I don't see an issue or a,
What is operating levy? We hadn't resolved that yet. My suggestion is to move that to the end. So that everything else has got a academic floor.
Whoops. Formatting is so much fun.
David?
I was going to say, maybe we should put an end time on and put that qualifier we always put on, that if we don't finish the agenda, we go to the next day. But I can't see how this would last more than a day, but that would be a safety net for us to put on there.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah,
I noticed Earl, you're on this call too, and you haven't spoken. Do you have anything you would like to say?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I would maybe like to talk a little bit about, because I think Mel and Mr. Smith talked about their last meeting about minority contractors. And I just want to give them some information, give the board and the public some information on the reason why we have a problem with that. You know, I don't know how. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so do you want
Yeah.
it that as a,
The information,
okay, so it's more like an announcement kind of?
right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So let's have that at the end.
okay.
okay.
Is also the African American Heritage Conference. Is that also an announcement?
That's more of
That's-
an announcement from Dick.
That's a presentation from Dick. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
presentation, okay.
Yeah.
So where am I putting the minority?
After operating levy.
And what are we calling it?
We can either call it announcement, probably best, announcement and information regarding minority contracts.
Say the process, the minority.
Yeah,
contract
the process.
Yeah.
Does that sound right, Earl?
Yeah, that's fine,
Okay.
Information on the process for minority contracts.
right.
All right. Put that before the operating levy.
No, I'd put it,
Okay.
it's
That's
fine where you
fine.
have it, I think.
Okay, all right.
All right. And so do we want to say, so Robin, what you just put there in red, In the
Mhm.
event the board has not finished addressing all items listed on the October 20, by, let's put a certain time, 4 PM or 5 PM or probably 4 PM. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, that looks like that covers that meeting.
Mr. Smith's hands up.
No, he didn't put it down, so I'm not calling
Oh.
on him.
He did,
David?
it did go down, ma'am.
My
Okay,
hand did go down.
okay, so
I just
David's
said that.
first. David's got his hand up.
Do we normally have a second public comments at the work session? I can't
No.
remember.
No, we
Okay.
don't.
Okay.
Mr. Smith? Mr. Smith,
Muted.
you're muted.
Also, just to go back to the point of Mr. Campbell was saying, also in that meeting, we're gonna have Ms. Crosby do that presentation as well, because I think it'd be great to have a lot great so people can understand the process of how the minority contracts are done. What's the what's the process? What does the paperwork look like? What is it? What was entail? I think it would be great to get into all that and to also say how we come to the point to when we start making decisions.
Mr. Smith,
So I think
what I was talking about is the reason why we are at this junction, how we got here. That's
right.
that's what I want to explain, because a lot of folks don't really understand why that is in place today, and that's all I want to give that information out and then go from there. I don't think we need Ms. Crosby to say anything.
Well, I think that on the other side of it, that I think that we should have Mrs. Crosby to tell exactly from the district standpoint what the process is and how do you get contracts and what paperwork you need to go to. Because as a board member, I would like to understand that a little more better as well. And I've had a lot of people who've asking me that, and I think that it would be good. It would be good to possibly go have a quick understanding of that. I don't think that should take long or be a problem.
My recollection is that we've covered that not too long ago at one of our work sessions, but I don't have the agendas in front of me at this moment in time. David or Mel?
I don't recall covering that. I agree with Will. I think we do need to know what the process is, because just the last look at some of the contract assignments, they were giving out points per se for what they completed in the contracts, and I didn't see any way where minorities got a benny or got an advantage through that process. And I think it is important to know, how would a minority get a contract simply because they put in the bid? I mean, from what Earl's probably going to present us, there's a need for some kind of assessment in a different way so minorities can get the contracts if we're going to stay with our board intent for certain percentages. But if it's going to be an even keel and you're still going to select without giving them any acknowledgement at all in terms of assessment, then it's mute to have anything to say that we are going to try to improve the minority contract, because obviously they're not identified in any other way other than that's a minority.
So David?
I think on this item, if Robert would just give the same presentation that he gave to the Beaufort Black Chamber of Commerce, because I think there was a meeting to go over this process. So I think he already has a presentation that he could go through. I think Mel might be at a different thing where the process needs to be adjusted. So Robert can talk to the existing process, I think, fairly.
Right. I'm not sure what it is, David. I just noticed that on the last, when there was no minority contractors in that. So
Yeah.
I don't know if there's something different when there is a minority contractor or not. So that's what I need to know from a standpoint of if a minority contractor survives the first tier of, applicants, what happens to make sure that we're acknowledging that is a minority other than by name only.
Gotcha.
Mr. Smith?
I definitely agree with that, Mr. Campbell. And basically some of what you were saying is just to my point, and that's why I think it's very important that we go over that, and also as board members we can understand it as well.
So, Ms. Walton,
Yes,
you heard the conversation, so can you reach out to Mr. Otting and see, if that's appropriate, what he already has?
yes, I will.
Okay,
I think I have an understanding of what the board is looking for.
okay.
So I will speak to Robert and
Yeah.
see if will fit with what you're trying to get.
Okay, all right.
Do you all want to reach out to Rachel, or do you all, the operating levy, do you all know what it is that she's looking for?
No, yeah, can you reach out to her, because she did tell me, and the last meeting, she wasn't, or the last work session, she wasn't ready. So can you reach out to her, Robin, and see if
Okay.
she's ready to go?
Okay,
Okay. Because she thought she would be at this one. That's what she
right.
said.
No,
Okay.
I'm on the, wait a minute.
So the whole idea of the operating levy is having it's not allowed in this state, it's allowed in Florida, is having a levy, a tax, or some type of burden to the taxpayer where it can be used, for example, for operating expenses. Like right now, if we have a bond referendum, it can only be used for capital expenses, not operating. I think that's the whole idea behind it. I think she's looking into whether that's an option in this state or not. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And she mentioned it a while ago.
Yeah, she had it it was on the last work session, but since she was not going to be able to be there for the whole time, she asked that we remove it.
Yeah,
So this is just a leftover.
yeah, okay. So there being no further hands up, it looks like, or do we have any, I think those are the two agendas we needed to develop.
Yes.
And then the next thing we need to decide is when our next agenda setting meeting is.
Okay.
Our next board meeting would be November 2nd. So the week prior to that is the week of the 25th.
So the Monday's fine with me, if it's good with Mel and
It's fine with me.
David.
We have a
We're
policy. committee.
scheduling a policy meeting on the 25th that would either begin at 3:30 or 4 on the 25th.
Okay,
25th is Monday.
Yes,
So can we push it back then to Thursday or Friday?
so the week previous to that is
Thanksgiving.
the work
21st,
session.
and then you have the work session on the 22nd.
So I guess my
you want to do-
suggestion might be to have the policy committee at 3:30 on that Monday, October 25th, and the agenda setting at 5.
Okay,
David,
would that work for your schedule?
Yeah, that works for my schedule. I'm not sure what the agenda is for policy, but hour and a half should be plenty.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Okay.
Okay.
okay,
And that's good for you too, Mel?
that's fine, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
So I have the 25th at 5 o'clock for agenda setting.
Yes.
Okay.
And that way we will have completed the work session too by the time we set the next business meeting agenda, which I think is preferable personally.
Okay,
All right, and there being no further business for this agenda setting meeting, we can adjourn by unanimous consent. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you to everyone that attended and good evening and good
Yeah,
night.
yeah.
Bye. We're
Yeah.
adjourned.